About 3 decades ago, Clark Kent, known to the world as Superman, descended to Earth from Krypton. There he took a vow to protect humanity. But 3 months ago, for the first time, he faced defeat by an enemy. A deadly strike from Ultraman sent him falling into the icy valleys. With broken ribs and fading breath, he called out for help. And then, his most loyal companion, Krypto the dog, arrived. The secret door to Superman's base opens through Krypto's DNA. The super robots present there take care of him, and every time his condition worsens, they play an old message from his parents. Fortunately, this message was incomplete. Superman's ship had been damaged while crashing onto Earth. Then, the sun's rays work a miracle. The wound on his body begins to heal. Bones knit back together, he becomes as strong as before. His confrontation was with Ultraman, being controlled by a 50-person team called Netwatch, led by Lex Luthor. During this war, while Superman was entangled in the city, Netwatch had reached his secret base. Meanwhile, Ultraman returns. His family speaks to him on the phone. A family whose location only Clark knew. And in his daily life, things were not easy for him here. The Daily Planet, Lois appears angry with him. She taunts him, saying, "You never arrive on time, and to be honest, you aren't handsome at all." Amidst these remarks, some of Clark's colleagues also gossip, saying that perhaps the era of Superman is coming to an end. He is being beaten every other day. Not only that, a new hashtag has started on the internet. #SuperDuffer. Hearing this name truly makes Superman's heart heavy. But who can control the world of the internet? The scene shifts from here to the president of the country of Borneo. He comes on camera and levels allegations against Superman. He says, "Superman doesn't think," straight away launches an attack on the city. "Our tanks were destroyed, the morale of the soldiers was broken, and we had to suffer heavy losses. Now, he must be taught a lesson." Hearing his words, Lex Luthor and other big commanders, almost presidential-level people, gather in a meeting. Lex says there, "Have you ever thought Superman could harm us any day? He is so powerful that if he wants, he can destroy everything." The other presidents oppose this. They say there is no jail in the world that can imprison Superman. He can get out from anywhere if he wants. The truth is also that he hasn't done anything bad so far. On the contrary, he has always saved people's lives and protected countries. Until we have solid evidence against him, we cannot take action. Lex Luthor's attempt fails, but his anger increases. Meanwhile, the scene changes to Lois. She has returned home when suddenly she senses someone is inside. She steps carefully, but Superman, or rather Clark Kent, appears before her. Sweet bonding is shown between the two here. We also understand that the strict attitude Lois shows toward Clark in the office is just a front. In reality, she knows Superman's true identity, his powers, and his purpose. In the middle of their conversation, the mood becomes a bit serious. Lois says, "You are Clark, you are Superman." On the other side, Lex Luthor and his companions have reached Antarctica. A massive door stands before them. Everyone wonders how to open it. Lex says with a smile, "Where there's a will, there's a way." Actually, in a previous fight, he had obtained DNA from a strand of Superman's hair. With that same DNA, the door opens. Upon entering, Superman's super robots appear. To stop them, Lex's 2 special henchmen move forward. One is Engineer, who can change her body into any form or size, and the other is Ultraman. Together, they brutally smash the super robots as if they were beating dogs. Then, the loyal dog Krypto comes forward. He also fights bravely against Engineer. But Engineer is clever. She traps Krypto in her net and imprisons him. After all this, they go straight to Superman's secret computer. Their motive is clear: to find some secret or evidence with which Superman can be finished forever. And finally, they find the message from Superman's parents. Disseminate who Alice and settle your queens in it. Hearing this, people were stunned. The innocent public, who until now considered Superman a savior, felt a wave of doubt. Was this truly Superman's mission? The Justice Gang also started questioning Superman directly. Why did you deceive the people? First, you became their protector, and now the real motive has come out. Pain was visible in Superman's eyes. He said, "This message is incomplete. I have always heard only the first part of it. This second part has surely been changed by someone." And says to him, "They are children. They need your help. Why don't you go and support them?" Superman says in a sad tone, "That is the smallest monster of the monster world. Let them fight it. It's no big deal." With this statement, another truth comes forward, that Superman not only has information about the threats on this Earth, but also knows about the monsters of other universes. Superman was constantly saying, "I am not what people are thinking. I have never deceived anyone." Lois Lane looks into his eyes and replies, "Whether people believe it or not, I believe in you. I know you have never done anything wrong and never will." The next morning, Clark Kent, i.e. Superman, arrives before the government to give his clarification. But the reality was that the government did not have enough power to imprison Superman. Therefore, they handed this responsibility to the Netwatch company, and Netwatch was anyway under the control of Lex Luthor. Netwatch cleverly teleported Superman and threw him into a wormhole. Now, let's take the story back a bit. When the Earth was formed and large planets collided, deep cracks were formed in some places. Some of these cracks bend time and space. That is, they become a kind of pocket dimension. A place that a common human cannot identify, nor can any ordinary means see. It is like a hidden, separate world. This is where Lex imprisoned Superman, along with Elemental Man. Elemental Man's power was that he could create any element or metal, whether it existed on Earth or not. This was the reason he prepared a piece of kryptonite right there. And the effect of kryptonite was the dog just kept running after them. He doesn't realize that all this is an illusion. Then it is revealed that Jimmy's girlfriend, that selfie girl, had also been Lex's third girlfriend. Lex had imprisoned many of his old girlfriends in that same pocket dimension. But this strange girl was perhaps with Lex only because of his looks. In reality, Lex had no special interest in her. Now she was attracted to Jimmy and wanted to spend time with him. But Jimmy knew this girl was completely crazy. He couldn't spend even 5 minutes with her, so he always made excuses. In the pocket dimension, Superman directly asks Elemental Man, "Why are you doing this to me?" There was pain in Elemental Man's eyes. He says, "My child has been imprisoned. If Superman has used his strength for this Earth, then now, when he is in trouble, you should also support him." But Green Lantern and Hawkgirl backed off. They didn't want to mess with the government. Only Reactor stepped forward. He said, "Fine, I will help you." Reactor set out towards Superman's last location with his T-Force team and spaceship. This attempt of his was successful because he had already released nanobots into Superman's blood, which kept tracking him in every situation. On the other side, Lex Luthor brings a man named Mr. Ali before Superman. He forcefully asks, "Tell me." This matter was also eating Elemental Man from inside. Gradually, he started realizing that he was doing wrong by helping Lex. At that moment, Lois Lane reaches that secret hideout with Reactor. A tremendous fight takes place here. Reactor had made a strong dozens of robots pounce on him. They reach the portal gate that leads toward the pocket dimension. From there, the attempt to track Superman begins. Inside, the conversation between Superman and Elemental Man continues. Elemental Man asks, "Can you really bring me? Its rays give me strength." Elemental Man falls into thought. "I cannot create the sun, but the elements of the sun, like hydrogen and helium, I can certainly create." And right then, he creates all those elements. Strength returns to Superman's veins. He strikes with full force and, breaking that prison, frees Elster. But just then, Ultraman and Engineer entered the field. Engineer's power was supernatural. Her body could take any form. She would become metal, liquid, or even like air. Her capabilities were exactly like those shown in some movies, where the human brain opens from 0 to 100% and becomes pure energy. Here, Engineer tries to stop Superman's breath by entering inside his body. But Superman quickly grabs her and starts flying upward at high speed so that the air pressure would loosen her grip. But Engineer was not going to give up so easily. Just then, Ultraman also arrives and attacks Superman. Lex Luthor is watching this entire fight live from his drones. Superman's condition begins to worsen. His breath still survives. And the real twist is, Ultraman turns out to be Superman's clone. Now a blockbuster fight takes place between the two superpowered characters. Laser beams, punches, breaking walls. Nearly half an hour of tremendous confrontation. On the other side, the Justice Gang arrives to fight the Bolivian army. A heavy fight breaks out between robots and soldiers. Even Krypto the dog helps. And then comes that scene, which was also shown in the trailer. Superman destroying everyone with his laser beams. It was truly an epic moment. Finally, Superman reaches straight to Lex Luthor. Thumping him, he says, "Finish all this. Now you must go to jail." Meanwhile, a member of Luthor's own team helps Reactor Man, sets the portal codes, and the Earth is saved from breaking. In the ending of the movie, 3 big moments are shown. A new member joins the Justice Gang, Elemental Man. Selfie Girl and Jimmy's bonding reaches toward marriage. And the fight between Superman and Lois Lane ends. Then comes the post-credit scene. Superman is getting his body repaired in Antarctica. There it is discovered that Krypto the dog actually belongs to his cousin. The cousin's story will also be shown in the next part, because she